All right. Welcome back to the Rival Weekly. My name is Hawkeye, not DrennoC, like it says, and with me is Koshkii. We are back, and we're going to be getting into our second series of the evening. So it's it's going to be VillaiN. Yeah, I'm saying that I correctly. VillaiN versus I'm totally blanking here. PappiJoe. So it looks like it's going to be another Zerg versus Protoss based on the portraits that I'm seeing here.
PPZ is pretty, it still feels like there's a lot of potential in PVZ. I know Blink Disruptor is pretty popular, but Air is also still pretty good. There's also a couple good rushes and two base all length that you can do as well. So there's still a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of room for varying builds in PVZ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems to be the more common matchup is PVZ of the non-mirrors. That's probably the games that seen the most of. I'm a little biased because the RSL Invitational was just a couple weeks ago, and it was seven. No, it was four Zerg players, three Protoss players, and one Terran player. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was an event that we invited the top performers from each season, and then two wild cards that we were just like, hey, it'd be cool if they came, and only one Terran player accepted out of the like two or three that we contacted. So it ended up
Oh,
being,
wow.
which actually is funny because it matches the racial distribution of the winners almost perfectly over the past three seasons. But yeah, it's just one of those that it was like, oh, I wanted to see a little bit more than just Protoss versus Zerg, but
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I remember when I was watching now, there was a lot. There was a lot of PVZ.
yeah. Well, I think there's a there's a Terran versus Protoss. No, it's a Terran versus Zerg because it was Panda Bear Me and Epic, and a ZVZ, which was Namshar and Acer's Bly, but that was it. Everyone else was PVZ. So a lot of that, a lot of fun and exciting Protoss versus Zerg.
There seems to be a lot more Zerg lately. I don't know. Have you seen that too, or is it just the way it
Yeah,
seems to me?
yeah, I've seen a lot of Zerg on the ladder. I haven't played too much ladder, but just talking to other members of the rival gaming team and community, just a lot like when they want to practice against Zerg, they just go on the ladder.
I was actually doing that today. I'm like, I have a new build to play against Zerg. Like, I wish I had somebody to practice with, and I'm like, I'll just go on ladder.
Hmm.
That'll do it.
Right, exactly. So, it looks like we're gonna be on Prion Terraces first for this series, followed by Dusk Towers, and then we're gonna have Ruins of Ceres again. So we're gonna go ahead and get those games loaded up here in just a moment. I got to double production and talk at the same time. Surprisingly hard. Surprisingly hard. I don't know how people do this all the time.
I don't know either because that does sound difficult.
Yeah. Well, like when you're doing like a personal stream, you just have like a scene switcher, so you don't have to like worry about that, and you it's only like two different like scenes, and then and then when you do something a little bit more advanced, like say a tournament like this one, and you're trying to do production, and get games arranged, and talk at the same time, it's just like it's just a lot to do. So
Yeah.
we're gonna see how well it pans out here, but we're about ready to get into our first map, Prion Terraces. Is this the one with the
The two
lens
gold
flare?
bases?
The
Or
I'm totally blanking on which one this is
this
because
is it's the yellow map with the two gold bases that are like pretty easy to take.
oh yeah the Zerg favored one, right?
Yes.
So that's right. Apparently I have no passion. Can't recall what maps we're actually playing. So what maps there are
Prion
right now, but
Prion Terraces is
Prion Terraces it is. We're gonna go ahead and get into this game. It's a PVZ versus with VillaiN being a Grandmaster actually seeing his portrait, and Pappy I don't see that he's ranked, so maybe he's from Europe. Let me
yeah,
double
I
check.
actually checked his profile. He is, I believe, previous Grandmaster. So,
Yeah.
well,
Oh,
pretty much jammed.
This just in. DrennoC is almost done with the series that he's casting, and he's saying that mech players are intentionally forcing him to cast this series longer.
Oh man.
So, alright, let's go ahead and introduce these players. In the top left-hand corner of Prion Terraces, it is the blue Zerg player. He is VillaiN.
And in the bottom right here on Prion Terraces, we have got our purple Protoss, PappiJoe. So, me, along with a lot of other Protoss players, veto this map mainly because of PvZ. This is quite a PvZ play. It's quite a Zerg favored map in PvZ. However, it's still winnable, but this is one of the reasons why. Right here, we've got that base that's been taken here from VillaiN. He's got his second base there at the gold. It's actually surprisingly hard to punish because you can get a lot of lings out really quick with those minerals. So, and that other drone there, probably going to take the other gold. It's difficult to punish a Zerg that does this, but at the same time, I do think it's doable, but maybe difficult. I'd like to see how PappiJoe does it.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see that the answer to that is just going to be going for the gateway, then forge, and then he's going to go catch up with his Nexus here pretty quickly. So definitely getting some gas as well, just in case he needs to do any, get any of those Cybercore units out by the time a Ling Flood comes. So just staying safe, but still trying to catch up. And we're going to see that Zealot is actually going to get Chrono boosted out. So we might see a little bit more than just... Oh yeah, we're going to see a lot more here. We're going to see a lot more here. So he actually forces the Zerg player to cancel that base. So, and rightly so. So we're going to see he's actually going to go ahead and take his real natural here.
I believe that was a wise move there from PappiJoe. It forced the cancel of the 1 gold base. So that is helpful.
Yeah, and then he's going to actually take his own. This is actually super smart. He's going to take his own gold base. Because now he has that opportunity to, because those lings just aren't going to be able to reach in time to be at, you know, like a threatening amount of lings. So with this third base coming in at that later point.
Yeah, that was a good way of handling that, in my opinion. So
yeah, so Zealot's going to go ahead and stay here, and he's just going to harass them as much as he can. Like, there's 4 lings on the way, but they're all the way at the main base. So unless the Zealot is going to go aggressive, all he needs to do is just chill out. He can, you know, use these mineral patches to just put himself in a position where he can take on all 6 of these lings. And yeah, he's just trying to sneak in there now. So he's going to be able to take out a ton of lings, but the Queen's going to be able to pick him off.
Yeah, that is good Zealot positioning, though, for when you are attacking lings.
Yeah, so Zealot's just not going to go down with a fight. Yeah. He's just going to stand there. You know, I feel like, yeah, he's just going to get that extra ling and get taken out here. So PappiJoe off to a decent start here, getting his own gold base as well. So that's going to put him on even footing.
Yeah, the Stargate is just about to finish. That'll be good for harass. He'll probably build an Oracle, although Phoenix also a very good choice as well. We've got speed just a little bit more, or a little bit less than halfway done. It is an Oracle coming out of that Stargate. We are going to see some Oracle harass. However, did get scouted there. So VillaiN knows that that's going to be a possibility.
Yeah. Do you think he meant to put the Stargate like right in front? Like, I feel like I would hide, if I was a Protoss player, I would hide that Stargate in this scenario. But maybe he wants to use it just to force spore crawlers, or
that's possible. Or he may not have had many options on where to place it, because your pylon placement at the start has to be pretty specific for defense. So maybe it was just a case of that was really just the best possible place to put it.
Yeah. Now that I'm looking, I'm not seeing a place that he could have put it here, because you have this, I think this is the only pylon that was really down at that time being. And if you put it right over here by the Cybercore and the Forge, then it blocks your entry. So
yeah.
That's a good point. But Oracle's going to go ahead and get 4 kills, but it's going to get taken out. So little bit of miscontrol by PappiJoe here.
Another one, though, ready to come out and maybe do some more damage. Maybe to stay around for some scouting as well, for some revelation, or even stasis. The stasis ward is a pretty decent ability too.
Yeah, so we're gonna see this adept is just gonna go down without a fight, and the Oracle just kind of watched it this entire time. But we do see a gateway is actually coming down aggressively, so it looks like he's gonna get some aggression going here pretty soon, especially with these 7 gateways back at home being warped in.
Yeah, this is looking very aggressive here from PappiJoe, especially the gateway. The gateway allows these pylons now to warp in at a, at a not 12-second time or however long the super long warp-in is.
Yeah, and even with this cannon here, so this cannon's going to be able to just defend this warp-in spots, so this aggression is gonna be pretty strong, and it's going to be hard to stop the reinforcements.
We do have roaches on the way, as well as roach speed. Roaches will help take care of this a little bit, although it won't be able to do much against the Oracle.
Yeah, and then we're going to just see a ton of Adepts be warped in. So Adepts showing that they are a pretty strong gateway unit, and with the Oracle here, it's just going to be able to take out these Zealots, or excuse me, these Lordlings as they come. And then Adepts are just free to rain raid on some of these drones, on these roaches that are coming in, and actually there's a lot of roaches being made, so VillaiN might be in a good position to defend, but losing 7 drones still.
Yeah, a lot of drones have been lost here. The Stalker's here to kind of kite the roaches, since Stalkers do a little bit better versus the roaches. The cannon goes down, and there are a lot of roaches now on the field for VillaiN, and they do push Pappy back for just a bit. We do have a Void Ray coming out, which will do extra damage to those roaches.
Yeah, and actually, this is a ton of roaches here. I was seeing them in the production tab, but they're kind of like 5 at a time, 7 at a time, and now he's up to 23 roaches, and just being able to turn them into Ravagers. This could be a pretty strong push if he wanted it to be.
Yeah, and there's actually a Spire down behind this.
Yeah.
So we're going to have possibly a muta transition after the roaches. But the Void Ray comes out, does prismatic alignment, doing extra damage to the armored units, to the roaches.
Yeah, and but these roaches are going to get a ton of damage in, so Ravager goes down pretty quickly here, and we don't see any probes actually going down quite yet, so this might be a missed opportunity. I mean, he's kind of getting some of the infrastructure, but he's just losing so many roaches just to get 2 probes.
And some pylons. A lot of, that was a lot of roaches lost during that push.
Yeah,
and there's still decent mining going on at the Nexus as well, but they're just now going down for PappiJoe. So he's going to be a little bit delayed in some of his mining as as his main begins to mine out.
Yeah, right. Now that the mineral patches just have less in general, and you start off with more workers, definitely an issue here. But the Void Ray is actually going to go down from those corrosive vials, so VillaiN definitely trying to take out some of the air units, but the Void Ray is just going to be here. It's going to be attacking. Luckily, he's not channeling that prismatic alignment here, but now he's starting to get some of that damage in. So, Mothership Core is going to go down, and the Void Ray is almost down.
Yeah, and actually, since Ravagers aren't even armored, so it's harder to counter them with Void Rays and Immortals, making them pretty powerful right now, especially with the Bile, because it works better versus the slower moving units like the Void Ray.
Right. So
makes them do pretty decent versus them.
Yeah, we do see that VillaiN is up by 60 drones, and definitely has the supply lead here. So VillaiN's in a good position, and he has 18 mutas on the way.
That's going to be pretty tough for PappiJoe to handle, because PappiJoe doesn't have too much anti-air on the field. He does have a Stargate. He could make Phoenixes, but right now there is just a big supply advantage for VillaiN, so...
Yeah, I'm surprised he's committing to Oracles more, because just in the position he's in, like, I would have expected maybe Void Rays or something, but yeah, just VillaiN just being on top of his tech, getting that Spire, and I feel like he's going to be caught off guard here. So Robo's about to come in, but the mutas are now down, so mutas are going to be able to start raining down on this parade.
Yeah, the Muta's just attacking that third. There is a pretty good force of overcharged pylons there, but they are running out of that overcharge fast.
Yeah, but that's just going to be GG. PappiJoe just doesn't have anything to fight these. So, GG. VillaiN takes the first series.
GG. That double gold base is pretty rough, although that wasn't really allowed in this game. I thought that Cannon Rush was actually pretty clever to stop that gold base from being taken.
Yeah, well, one gold base does wonders. So, if you had two, I think that would have just been a little too much. But we're going to go ahead and get into Dusk Towers. That's our second map for this series. And what do you think PappiJoe could do to get back into the series, Koshkii?
You know, the Blink Disruptor always, you know, not always, but it tends to be a pretty good army composition if you're playing a macro game. If you're not playing a macro game, you've got a couple options as far as 2 base all-ins. You can get Immortal Charge Lot or Immortal Adept, both pretty solid. I have been playing with both, actually. They can be really well. They can work really well if your opponent doesn't scout it. They are options. 2 base all-ins and PVZ, always something to consider. But to come back, maybe some sort of more sneaky play. I think Stargate is still a good choice as well. He could do some Oracle. He could do some Phoenix Harass.
Definitely here. So we're going to go ahead and get into this next series. It's Dusk Towers. This is a 2v2 map with the Lens Flare, right?
The Lens Flare,
Yeah, because it's well, Orena is the one that's close by. Yeah, this is the
okay,
Lens Flare
I see
map.
what you mean now. I don't remember a Lens Flare.
Yeah, right on the map. Even the mini map shows the Lens